Have you ever wondered if ferrets are the right pet for you? Today I wanted to introduce you to my two ferrets, Wolfgang and Roscoe. This is Roscoe, this is Wolfgang. Before I start, I wanted to note that I am in the UK. This means that ferrets are not sold desexed, descented, or microchipped or vaccinated. Descenting is illegal here, and all the other things are things you'll need to decide if you want to do. My ferrets are both microchipped and vaccinated as I take them out the house with me. They will be chemically castrated in February, just before their first season, which should be around March. This video will be in 3 parts. I'll do pros, cons, and additional considerations. Let's get started with the pros. Firstly, they are just such joyful creatures. I have never had a pet that has made me laugh as much as ferrets make me laugh. They are so full of beans, so full of energy, always want to play, and they just do things that are just so ridiculously funny without meaning to. They're just clumsy, funny little creatures. Pro number 2 is that they can be really affectionate. Of course, each ferret will be different. They all have their own personalities and pasts, which will dictate whether they are cuddly or not. Wolfgang, who is here falling asleep, is very, very cuddly. He comes to me and he falls asleep on my lap, he falls asleep in my arms. If I put him to bed too soon and he's not finished with cuddling, he will scratch at the door to come back out, literally just so that I can hold him and he can fall asleep in my arms. Pro number 3. They are a pet that is very demanding. For some people, this might be a con, but for me, it's actually a pro. I love to look after animals that are full on. I love to establish a good routine and structure and be really hands-on with my animals' care. They are hard work and a challenge, but for me, this is something I actively wanted, so this is one of the reasons that I got ferrets. I wanted a pet that would challenge me and a pet that would take up a lot of my time and my energy. I find caring for more high-maintenance pets really rewarding. If you're looking for a pet that will truly change and structure your life in a new way, then ferrets might be for you. Pro number 4 is they are incredibly cute. I suppose this is subjective, but if you don't find ferrets cute, you are wrong, because look at this little face. Personally, I think ferrets are one of the cutest animals in the world. Aren't you? Pro number 5 is that you can create a really strong bond with your ferrets. Given some time and trust, your ferret will learn that you are somebody who they can trust and that they enjoy spending time with. My ferrets follow me around the house. They trust me to do pretty much anything with them, so things like clipping their claws is really easy. Yes, I love you too. I know. They clean me, as you can see, and they like playing with me, and it's really nice to have such a special bond with your pet. Pro number 7 is that you can take your ferret on holiday with you. I've taken my ferrets with me to the Lake District when they were just 4 months old, and I plan to take them on many more trips with me in the future. They can also go further afield. Quite a lot of ferry companies allow ferrets on board as long as they've got a health certificate. This leads me to point number 7. They can be lead trained. This means that you can take them on walks, you can take them out of the house with you. Ferrets generally love to be outdoors, they love to dig and explore. This is something that a lot of people will really enjoy too, especially if you are active and enjoy walking and would like a pet that can leave the house with you and go on walks with you. I have a travel backpack for my two, and they just sit in this bit here when I'm walking, and then I let them out as and when I stop. And they actually really enjoy being in their travel backpack. They sleep in it quite well. I have taken them to the beach on day trips, and they're really good in the car. They just sleep, pretty much. There are so many other little quirks, pros that I could talk about, but those were the main ones that I just wanted to cover. I just want to get across how just amazingly involved and happy pets they are, and how much joy they really bring to my life. I can't imagine what life was like before I had ferrets. Probably very quiet and peaceful. On to the cons. I don't really like to say that these are cons because they're just natural characteristics of ferrets and I love them exactly as they are, but these might make ferrets a more difficult pet for you to own. Number 1. They have a pretty strong musky smell. I personally don't find this too offensive, But generally, if you keep ferrets indoors, or if they have a room in your house, or at least the room that they are in, and all the fabrics and the furnishings in that room are going to smell like ferret. It's sort of like a sweet, musky odour. It does get into clothes and fabrics, and if you own ferrets, you will smell like a ferret. They do also express their anal glands, and this is not something I am a fan of. This happens when they are stressed, excited, or even when they're sleepy. When they do it, it stinks, and the smell lingers for quite a long time. Con number 2, which for me isn't really a con, but it might be if this is an issue for you, is that they require a lot of space and attention. My ferrets are kept indoors, although quite a lot of people in the UK do keep them outdoors, especially if they are working ferrets. They have both a large cage, which is behind me, and they don't use anymore really, and they also have their own room, which is what I'm currently sat in. They free roam the house when I'm home, so they have access to the rest of the house while I'm not at work. Con number 3 is they are an expensive pet to own. In the UK, they aren't actually an expensive pet to buy, but their maintenance and their vet fees, etc., are really quite expensive. Depending what you feed them, their food can cost quite a lot. Mine are raw fed, and this costs me around £100 a month, but compared to something like a hamster, it is quite substantial. Their cages are also very expensive. Then comes things like vet care, microchipping, vaccination. Mine are also insured, and I try and have an emergency fund for when they need to go to the vets last minute, or for routine vets appointments too, which generally aren't covered by the insurance. Let me know if you'd like a more in detail video about the cost of owning ferrets. I'm very happy to do a proper breakdown about that. Con number 4 is that they can bite. My ferrets are nip trained, and they will only ever bite me if I am playing or if they're really excited. It's never done with any aggressive or defensive intent, but they can draw blood, and ferrets in general do have a reputation for being quite vicious, especially if they are working ferrets. I've been bitten pretty hard by ferrets before, not mine, but other ferrets. I've had ferrets bite down and hold on and not let go for a while, which has caused lots of bleeding, bruising, and swelling, and infection as well. This is a big consideration for some people, especially if you have young children. Con number 5 is that they can be incompatible with other animals. They can also be quite compatible, but I'm going to go into the incompatibilities here because I think that's probably more important. A lot of domestic pet animals in the UK are prey animals, things like rabbits, hamsters, guinea pigs, mice. The closest wild species we have to ferrets over here are polecats, and polecats' diets typically consist of things like rabbit. This means if you have ferrets and rodent/prey species, you would have to be really, really careful. I have known ferrets to kill people's guinea pigs and also kill people's rabbits before. I do have other animals, like I said. I've got 4 cats and I've also got reptiles. I've actually got Cindy here. They tend to just ignore each other, but I am always supervising them because they are both predator species and they can both bite pretty hard, and the cats can also scratch pretty hard, and I wouldn't want anything to come of that. I know some people do let their cats and their ferrets play together. My cats and ferrets have shown no interest in playing with each other. They tend to just avoid each other, which honestly is preferred for me because it takes away the stress of them potentially hurting each other, even if it's by accident. I really like having this separate room that is just for the ferrets because it means that I can shut my cats out of this room as well, and the ferrets can be unsupervised in here all day whilst I'm out, so I know that they have a big amount of space without any chance of them running into the cats, because I just wouldn't want them to not be supervised whilst the cats were around them. Additional considerations. They are really inquisitive. This means they'll get into everything they can and easily break things and also hurt themselves. You have to ferret-proof the areas of your home that the ferrets are going to be in because they don't really understand the concept of danger that well. They eat things that they shouldn't, they get into things that they shouldn't, they will knock things off the surfaces. Common household foods like raisins and chocolate are also really toxic to ferrets, and obviously things like cleaning products are very dangerous. Ferrets accidentally eating things that they shouldn't, like foam or rubber or fabrics, can be really, really dangerous because they have a really short digestive tract. This means that things can really easily cause blockages, and that can be pretty fatal pretty quickly. They also love to steal and stash things away, and this is something that I find really quite funny and endearing about them, but it can also be really annoying and put them at danger. Mine absolutely love to try and grab tubes of like face cream and also lip balm. Another very important thing to note is that ferrets are really social animals. If you can't already tell, they do generally love human contact, but they really thrive on other ferret interactions. They do best in at least pairs, but you can also keep them in groups, which is called a business of ferrets. I personally would not ever get a solo ferret. I just know how much stimulation and socialization they get from each other, and that is not something that I would ever be able to replicate. They give each other company when I'm not home, they play really well with each other, and that's just not something that I would be able to replace with my humanness. Those are just a few of the pros, cons, and considerations of owning ferrets. If you have any questions, let me know down below. If you'd like me to make any other videos about their more specific care or the costs, etc., then also let me know. And do also bear in mind that their cage is not really set up for them to be living in right now because they live in the rest of this room. Thank you for watching, and Wolfgang says goodbye. Roscoe is now under the cupboard. That is his favourite sleeping spot, so he won't be saying goodbye, but Wolfgang says goodbye, don't you? And he says I'm very, very sleepy. And I'm gonna fall asleep now. Yes. Goodbye.